Okay, thank you for joining us today. Today we are going to be talking about FlipGrid and Kami and how you can integrate them into your classroom currently and in the future.
And then just to go over some housekeeping for the webinar, I know we've all found the chat and you guys have been introducing yourselves, which is great. If anyone comes up with any questions throughout the presentation, there is a Q&A section. If you could please find where it says Q&A and then type your questions in there. It makes finding those questions and answering them really easy because the chat scrolls really fast. So at any point in time, if you have a question, just go ahead and type it in the Q&A, and then during the Q&A section, we will get to them.
Okay, so first we are going to talk about FlipGrid, and FlipGrid is a cool resource that you can use that is video recording. So it is 100% based around recorded video. And so what you do with FlipGrid is you can create grids, which are like classrooms. And then within those classrooms or within those grids, you can create topics, which are like either assignments or just discussions, those types of things. And instead of the students responding with text, they would respond with video. And they've added tons of new features recently, but this is a cool way to get videos from your kids. And there's a ton of different settings and stuff that we're going to talk about today, but the basic premise of FlipGrid is it's all focused around recorded video.
And a huge thing with FlipGrid is empowering every voice. When we're in our classrooms and we ask students questions, we're usually just calling on a handful. FlipGrid allows us to hear from every single one of our students in class all the time. And then even now, when we're far away from our students, we can again hear a response from every single one of our students. So in the same amount of time, if we were in the classroom, that we would do a 5-minute checking for understanding, we could substitute that with FlipGrid. And I can hear from every single student in my classroom during that class period in the same amount of time. So I'll have my EL students who maybe won't say anything all day, but then when they come to my classroom during my science class period, I know that they're going to at least have a couple of minutes where they're going to be talking, where I will understand what they know and what they don't know.
Yeah, and just to kind of piggyback on the whole student voice aspect of FlipGrid, this is a great way, like Satara said, it's a great way to hear from every single one of your students. So you can ask a question, and instead of just hearing from those handful that we said before, you can now literally hear from every single one of your kids. And it's great because those shy kids that we all know, we have those that don't really like to speak up and they might have a great insight, but they're a little, reluctant to share. They might be a little shy. This way you get to easily hear from all of them. It's a little bit more of a safer environment because they're just talking to the computer, to the microphone. I know I've been in classes and I've seen students that are a little shy and whatnot, but you throw in this video in front of them and they come out of their shell and they kind of blossom a little bit. So it's a great way to be able to hear from every one of your kids, and you're able to get those insights that they might not have shared if it was in a more traditional sharing in front of the class kind of setting.
And then so we just wanted to talk about creating grids and topics. So when you actually create your classroom, they're going to call it a grid. So your grid would be like period 1, period 2, period 3, or you could create a grid for history, English, math. And then your topics are like your assignments within that. So in period 1, I could have an assignment that would be vocabulary review for week 12. Or in English, I could have a topic that would say book report. And my students would then click on that topic and they would enter in all of that information.
The best part about it is that it's really easy to use. It's very simple. The tools are very intuitive to learn and to use. Students, I've gone in and worked in classes that have never used it before, and within 5 minutes, they're picking up how to use different tools. They're figuring out how to use things. They're teaching each other how to do things. It's pretty remarkable to see them just kind of explore and find new tools and stuff that they're using in FlipGrid. FlipGrid's added a ton of tools as well. So they've added, they can record their video. They can, if they had a previous recording that they recorded somewhere else, they can upload that recording to FlipGrid. They can trim. Now they have a whiteboard feature. So if they wanted to, especially for those students in our high schools that have the 2-in-1 devices that have the touchscreen, they can turn on the whiteboard feature and they can be annotating and they can be working out, a math problem or something. And then maybe you have those students that are still a little shy and they don't want their, video out there or whatever. They have tools where they can add different filters where, like in the picture here, the student's face is a little pixelated, so can't really see who they are, kind of thing. They can add those filters. They can add text to their pictures. There's tons of different features that they've added to FlipGrid when they are recording their videos.
And then just some ideas of how you could use FlipGrid in the classroom. FlipGrid will help students practice their fluency and their phonics, their listening, their reading, their speaking skills, all of that in one. There is a notepad within FlipGrid that the students can actually type out what they're going to say. That way it's there for them, but it doesn't actually show up in their video. And so all of that can be used for different type of Socratic discussions, research presentations, book studies, peer reviews. Students can respond to each other with a video. So just like how we have them walking around in classroom, leaving Post-it notes, responding to people's different work, they can do that online now with the computer all through FlipGrid. They can share their aha moments. They can do different think alouds. It's a way to kind of flip your classroom, especially now, and when we get back in our classrooms, a way to utilize the computers in a different format that really buys into what the kids know nowadays with their social media culture and bringing that in.
Yeah, it's a great tool to integrate multiple standards and multiple skills. So it's more than just recording a video. Like Satara said, if you're doing any type of, like a book study, then you can have the kids be writing out their script beforehand. So you're bringing in those writing skills. You can have them peer editing. You can, when they're doing their videos, you can be, discussing the speaking standards. And then when they're watching videos, you can be hitting those listening standards. So it's more than just recording a video. There's lots of skills and lots of standards that can be integrated into a simple 3-minute FlipGrid video. So to go along with that, so you might be thinking, okay, this sounds great, but I don't even know where I would start. I don't even know what kind of topic I would do or anything like that. Well, FlipGrid has you covered. They have what's called the Disco library. So when you're logged into FlipGrid, you'll see at the top, like on the picture here, we have the dashboard, we have our grid, we have shorts, we have mixtape, and then we have the Disco library. So the Disco library is tons of basically pre-made lessons and pre-made topics that you can go through and you can sort, and you can say, I'm a high school teacher that teaches ELA, and you can filter by that and it'll show you different topics that people have already made, and you can find one that you like and you can say, I want to use this one, and you apply it to one of your topics or you apply it to one of your grids, and now you can push it out to your students. They've done kind of the work for you. So if you're not sure where to start or what kind of ideas, this is a great resource to use just to either find pre-made lessons or just find ideas of things that other people are using FlipGrid with.
And now we're going to go over how to actually sign up, create an account if you've never used it. So what you would do is you would go to flipgrid.com to actually sign up. And then in the upper right-hand corner, there is a page that says Educator Sign Up. There's a little button. That is exactly what you would click to sign up for the first time.
And then when you go to your education login center, you would go in and you would click Google login. So you can log in with you would want to log in with Google, and then you would want to choose your TUSD Google account. Oh, you're muted, Satara.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
And then when you've created your account and you've named everything, you've given your class a name, there's a button that says add a new grid. So I called my whole FlipGrid like Mrs. Ali. and then I wanted to add a grid. So I can add a grid for my first period, second period, third period, fourth period, or if I wanted to add a separate grid for my English, math, science, history, I could do that. So then I would just click on the Add a Grid button. And then after I click on the Add a Grid button, there's a few steps on this page. I can put in the name of my grid, so that's where my first, second, third, fourth period would go. And then I would choose school email. This limits the people that are even allowed to join. So it limits the school email to turlockusd.org. And then I would scroll down to find the next. The next isn't going to show up right away. You have to just scroll down just a little bit on your Chromebook, and then it'll be there right on the bottom. And then you'll see that when you type in the school email, turlockusd.org should already be there. If it's not, just type in the @turlockusd.org. That makes sure that it's limited to just our domain, and then hit next. And then your grid is ready to go. So you do not need to do anything technically on this page, but if you'd like to share this entire first period grid to your Google Classroom, you can by clicking on the Google Classroom symbol, or you can just hit go to your grid and you can make your individual topics or assignments within that grid, and you can share the individual assignments if you'd like to Google Classroom. There's a few ways that you can share. You can share the entire class period, or you can just share the individual assignments.
Okay, so now we are in our grid. We've created it. We've set everything up. So now we have a few options here. So at the top, you're going to see My Grid. So it's going to show you all of your grids. And then we are in our homeroom grid right now. So by default, FlipGrid will put a topic in there for you. So they just kind of show you what it looks like, and they'll show you kind of the different tools and things that you can use with it. So looking there, you're going to have the Add New Topic button. So if you wanted to add a topic, you would click there. Looking at the topic that is already in the grid, you have 3 buttons there. So you have the status of it, whether in this case it says active. Then you have the button to share. So if you wanted to share this grid, or excuse me, if you wanted to share the topic, you could. And then you have an actions button. So within a topic, if we're looking at it being active, a topic can have 3 different states. It can either be active, it can be frozen, or it can be, trying to remember the third one. Active, frozen, and?
I think archived.
Okay, so active means students can see it, they can post to it, they can see, they can respond to videos in there. Frozen means that it is viewable by the students, but they cannot post anything into it. And then archived or hidden means that they cannot see the topic at all.
And then when you are creating your topic, there are many, many settings that are available for the teacher. So the first thing when you create your topic, it'll give you a spot where you can put in the title, a prompt, and the recording time. Currently, the recording time goes up to 10 minutes, but you can make it as little as 30 seconds to make your students give you a very succinct answer. And if you keep scrolling on this page and you actually hit more options, there's more options that actually come up for the teacher. So some of the options for the teacher would be that instead of writing out the instructions, because we know our students don't read our instructions, you could record a video. So you could record a video using the same exact tools that your students would use when they make their video, and you can post your video of your instructions. You could upload a video if you have one already made. You can upload an image. You can add emojis. You can link to Adobe Spark. You can put in a Kahoot. You can link to your Wakelet resources. There's a lot of different tools for us teachers that we could use to kind of share the information to our students to increase the chance that they'll read our directions. And then the settings for students, if you just click more options, it'll open up a plethora of settings, and I'll let Marshall talk about those.
So one of the more option is being able to add attachments to our topics. So maybe we are wanting to, for example, maybe we're wanting them to read an article and then give some type of response to that article. We can link that article here, whether it be the website, whether it be the PDF version. We can add attachments and then we can link them here, and then they would be able to access them within that topic in FlipGrid. Another one is the status. So we talked about this. So first thing is video moderation. So you can either have this turned on or you can have it turned off. So if video moderation is turned on, you, the teacher, have to review the videos and you have to approve them before they get posted to the grid. The next thing is student-to-student reply. So you can allow students to reply to each other's videos with their own video. You can change the status of the topic like we talked about before. So it can be active, frozen, or hidden. That was the last option, was hidden. So active means that, like I said, students can view videos, they can post videos. Frozen, they can view videos, but they cannot post. And then hidden would be that they cannot even see the topic at all. And then you can also launch a topic and then set an automatic freeze date. So I can kind of schedule out my topics. So if I'm looking at my schedule and I know, okay, this week I have this assignment that I want to use FlipGrid with, I can already kind of pre-schedule this and I can say, okay, this video is going to post on Wednesday and I'm going to give my students 3 days to post their video. So then I can say, it's going to post on Wednesday and then it's going to be frozen Friday. So they can still view responses, but they wouldn't be able to upload them to the grid. And then some video features. So these are things that the students can do while they are posting their videos and while they're creating their videos. So do you want them to be able to add filters, stickers, drawings, text to their video and their selfies? So when they record their video, when it gets posted to the topic, they have to take a picture and that picture is what gets posted. So they call that the selfie. So you can decide, do I want them to have those tools for their picture and their video, just their picture, just their video, or do I want to turn that off entirely? Video titles, do I want them to be able to add a title to their video? Do I want them to be able to see the video count, how many of their classmates watched their video? Do I want to allow the sticky note feature? So do I want them to have a little sticky note that they can type out their notes and stuff while they're recording their video? Video editing, do I want to be able to allow them to trim and rearrange video clips within their video that they've recorded? Do I want them to be able to attach links to their video? So maybe they're writing, they're writing, and then they're recording their video, and maybe they want to link out to a Google Doc that they've written a little bit more about their video. You can do that. And then you can allow likes. So you can allow students to like each other's videos. And then finally is feedback. So this would be for us. So we can set up rubrics to provide feedback to them on their video. There's a basic feedback feature, and then there's also custom feedback. So you can go in and you can customize your feedback and customize your rubric to match up with certain standards that you're working on. So if you're working on specific speaking and listening standards, you can plot those in there and you can set it up and you can put points values and you can put descriptions on what each category represents and how they do in that. And then when you give them their feedback, they'll be able to see that rubric and see how they kind of scored on their video.
And then we've always talked about utilizing resources that are out there and not trying to recreate the wheel. If you look at the very top when you're logged in, there's going to be a spot that says Disco Library. When you click on it, and this is just a little screenshot from the very top, if I would have scrolled down, there were so many more resources. There's so much that other teachers have created and that they've shared that we can definitely utilize what's out there. You can search through it, you can sort it, you can filter it. There's even a whole section from learning from home that other teachers have created there's so many things that you can find that's already done. That way you don't have to try to come up with something brand new, especially for your first time using it. Try to look at what's already out there and maybe just pick that up, use that for the first time, and see how that goes with your students.
Yeah. So having Satara say something about using it for the first time. So we have both have gone into classrooms where it was used for the very first time, and I'm just going to put a warning out there. They're going to get very excited and they're going to, have a great time using it. So let them explore, let them kind of play with it. Your first topic, probably my suggestion, and I'm sure Satara would agree, probably wouldn't pick something academic. I would have something kind of fun, like introducing yourself, talking about your favorite movie, talking about your favorite book, something that is just getting them used to using the service, using the tools and stuff. You're going to see your students record their video and they're going to delete it and they're going to record 10,000 videos because it doesn't look right. And, um, you know, you're going to see them, they're going to, be in there. They're going to make sure that their hair looks good and they're going to make sure that everything looks good. And this is true for teachers too, because I've worked with teachers and the teachers do the same thing. So it's not just students. But your first topic, just have it be something fun that you can just kind of play around with the tools. You can kind of just go through, see how things are working, get that, like nostalgia, that interest in it, that like newness will kind of wear off, and then they won't be necessarily playing around with so many of the features. They'll be using them effectively. So that's just kind of my recommendation would be to the very first topic that you do, not have it necessarily be anything academic that you're going to grade. Just have it be something that they can use to kind of explore the tools and explore how FlipGrid works.
Yes, and then just to add, give them a time limit.
Mm-hmm.
They will take 5 days to create a video that is 30 seconds if you give them that time, because they will edit and redo it and redo it and redo it. So definitely give them a time limit. When doing this in the classroom, give them, maybe 5 to 10 minutes for a couple minute video. And as they get more into it and more active, you're going to see the work that they put into it. They are going to take so much ownership of that, and you're going to get so much better work than if you were doing something on paper. And you're going to be amazed at what they do.
Yeah, so to just kind of piggyback on what Satara was saying right now, I was going to mention it in the next slide, but she kind of brought it up right now. So I figured now would be a good time to talk about it. So Satara and I went into a 6th grade classroom before we had to be shelter in place. And the teacher had the students in groups and they were going to be reviewing math concepts. And she originally was going to do it one way, but then we started kind of talking about FlipGrid separately. And she's like, you know what, maybe this might be something that I can use with my class. I've never used it before, but let's go ahead and try it. So we went in the first 5 or 10 minutes, like we said, we did like an opening, like introduce yourself, just get used to the tools and stuff. And then we put the kids, they were already in their groups. They had their math concept that they were going to teach other people about. So now they're making a video about their math concept. And we just told them, like they had already previously been working on their scripts and what they were going to say and all this stuff, and they had all their roles. So they were getting that writing in. They were working on things collaboratively. They were doing a lot of work before the recording of the video. And then we came in for the recording aspect, and just watching them take so much ownership on teaching somebody how to, multiply fractions, or how to find, just the different math concepts that if they were just going to be writing out on a piece of paper, there probably wouldn't be that amount of buy-in. And I was just watching them and I was just amazed by how into it they were. And if you walked in, it was kind of, as an outsider just walking in, it might have looked a little chaotic, but it was definitely like productive talk and things they were discussing. They were collaboratively working. There were some students that, in talking to the teacher afterwards, some students were leading the groups and they were kind of taking charge. And these were the students that normally don't say anything and they don't take charge and they don't feel like they have a voice. And this platform gave them that outlet. So it was pretty remarkable and pretty amazing to see. I don't know if Tara, if you want to add anything to that or not.
Um, yeah, so something that stood out in my mind was a group was wanting to explain multiplying numbers. So doing like square, taking like cubed of numbers, and they came up with the example of using gremlins. I don't know if you guys ever saw the movie. I never did, but the student definitely explained the entire movie to me, that if you put water on the gremlins, they start to multiply or something like that, and they double. So they were using that in their explanation, and they had different pictures of the gremlins, and they were explaining all of this. So they're using all these visual representations to explain something that mathematically on a piece of paper they wouldn't have been able to do before. And that blew me away, that that's something that they thought about.
Yeah, it was pretty remarkable to see. So we have a link here for you guys that it links to some more resources that FlipGrid has provided and they've come up with. So definitely check it out, and check out the Disco library, and just don't, like we've said in the past, don't try to take on too much, start small, and then, but definitely check this out. It is a cool tool to use.
Right now we're going to switch gears and we're going to talk about Kami. Kami is a Chrome extension that teachers and the students can get for free. It's something that can be added by visiting the Chrome web store. Then they just hit add to Chrome, and the extension automatically gets added to our Chrome browser. It's been approved for use, and it allows us to write on PDFs. So you can share a document with a student, keep the same format, and allow them to type, write, draw, highlight, and just kind of mark it up.
So like Satara was saying, Kami allows you to kind of annotate on PDFs. So what you would do is you can open up Kami, and you can, on any document or PDF that you'll be able to annotate on. So combining Kami with other apps like Screencastify it's a pretty nice way for them to kind of show their knowledge and show their understanding. If you missed our PD yesterday, we talked about Screencastify, and so you can check that out on our YouTube channel. Check it out on the channel, and we kind of dive into Screencastify and how to use it and stuff. But pairing Kami up with something like that is a great way to be able to have your students show their understanding. So this is a great tool to have them, annotate documents if they're doing different types of skills and stuff. It's a cool tool to use. So if they're doing like some close reading, stuff like that, this would be a nice feature to use.
So with Kami, there's the free version and then the teacher paid version. But right now, because of COVID-19, the paid version is actually free. Kami syncs seamlessly with Google Classroom. And so when you go to create an assignment, you'll see a spot to put a Kami assignment. So you'll be able to actually upload assignments that you've written on through your Kami access. And even without the paid version, you can still write on documents, upload it into Google Classroom, and turn it in. It's just with the paid version, it's one less step to take. But you can grade with Kami in Google Classroom. You can write on it. So instead of having a pen and paper, because we can't have that right now, you can have students take pictures of stuff that they're turning in, and you can write on it. You can draw on it. You can mark up, especially with our teacher Chromebooks, where we can write on the screen. We can just use our finger, go to the draw function, and just annotate all over their document.
So just to kind of lay out the difference between the free account and the teacher plan. So in our account that we have right now, we can open up PDFs, we can open up docs, we can open up Microsoft Word documents, PowerPoints, slides, images. We can open up all those in Kami. And some tools that we have is we can underline things, we can draw, we can highlight, we can add text comments, we can strike through, we can add text boxes, we can erase, and we can add shapes. In the teacher plan, we have all those tools, plus you have a dictionary, you can add equations, you can do text to speech, you can add a video comment, you can integrate it directly within Google Classroom, you can add a signature, you can insert images, you can add a voice comment, You can do a screen capture, and then you can also use Kami to split and merge different documents together.
And there's a couple ways that Kami works. Let's say that I'm on my drive, like this picture shows, and I open up a PDF. So I opened up the PDF of the Chromebook accessibility features, and I want to write on it. At the very, very top, there is a bar that says Open With, and I can click on Annotate with Kami. When I click on Annotate with Kami, it will open up all these different options. There's another way where I can get into Kami. It's just clicking the extension in the upper right-hand corner, and it'll take me to a gray page, and I can upload documents that way. But I find this way I can open anything. If I get something in an email and I open it on my Chromebook, I can open it with Kami and annotate it. I can circle something. I can read through it and highlight. I can strike through. So this allows me to open up any single PDF with Kami. And you can make anything a PDF. I know I had a teacher ask me this before. What if she was on a website and she wanted to make that article a PDF? If there's a print box, instead of printing, you can change print to save as PDF, and you've now made it a PDF. And even if there's not a print box, if you do Control P, so hold down the Control button and press the button P, it allows a print screen to come up, and instead of printing, you can choose to save as PDF. So you can save anything as a PDF, and then you can annotate it yourself or share it with your students so they can annotate. And what I mean by share, I mean post it on Google Classroom so everyone has a copy, and then they can annotate.
So once you are in your PDF and you're ready to use Kami, this is kind of the screen that you're going to see. So we just wanted to kind of highlight a few tools for you. So the first one is your markup tool. So you're highlighting, your strike through, your underlining. Underneath that, you're going to see the T for adding text. So once you click on that, you can choose the color of the text, you can choose the size, all those types of things. Underneath that, you're going to see the little paintbrush. That is going to be your drawing tool. And then underneath that, you're going to see the circle with the square behind it. That is your adding shapes tool. And then underneath that is the erase tool. You'll also notice that some of the tools have the little lock next to them. Those are ones that you would unlock if you had the paid teacher version, but this is what you would see with the current version that we have, just the basic version that all teachers have.
But the paid version is free right now, so definitely just take advantage of it. Use what you can that's free. This time is kind of good in the sense that everything right now is free, so we can use as much as we can and fall in love with something, and just kind of use that with our students and teach them how to use it.
Okay, so that's all that we have for you guys today on FlipGrid and Kami. If you guys have questions about it, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. And then once we're back to quote unquote normal times next year, if you're wanting to integrate Kami or FlipGrid or anything that we've talked about, please, please, please reach out to us. We can come in, we can work with you individually, we can work with your PLC, we can come in and help you facilitate a lesson, we can model a lesson. We're here to support you guys. So make sure to reach out if you have questions or if you need any type of support. So this is our final PD before spring break. We are going to be taking spring break off next week. And so we want you guys to do the same. We want you guys to take time for yourself, take time for you and your family. We will be back the Tuesday after spring break on the 21st, same time, and we're going to be talking about Seesaw and Adobe Spark. So we're going to be talking about those two topics, those two programs, and different ways that we can integrate those into our classrooms in our current state, but then most importantly, how we can integrate them in the future as well. So we just want to thank you guys again for taking time out of your day for joining us. Have a great spring break, and we will talk to you soon.